Ephesians chapter 6. I'm dressed with the weapons of warfare, the things He gives us. I'm ready to go out and serve. I'm ready to go out and fight in His name. And not only am I devoted, but dressed, but I want to be dependable on Him. I want the Lord to say, when He says go, if He puts me in a place of danger, He says do this, what I want to do is obey the captain of our salvation, do exactly what He says. I want to be a soldier of the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm in His army. I'm in the Christian army. Thanks be to God, what a high position He has placed me in, and the position He has placed you in. It is well because of my pardon. It's well because of my peace. It's well because of my position, but it's well because of my protection. You know, it's a wonderful thing, and we probably don't fully understand, and we won't fully understand till we get to glory on how the Lord has protected us. I mean, the book of Hebrews says, speaking of the angels, he says, are they not ministering spirits sent forth to be, they're to guard those who are the heirs of salvation? You say, I've never seen an angel. Oh, yes, you may have, and you just didn't know it. There's situations where God's delivered you, and sometimes you didn't even know it. I remember a time right after I got out of college when I was working in a factory. I was busy working, and everybody sort of gasped, and they turned white, like what was happening to me there? They saw something happen that I didn't see happen. One of these big block and tackle things on the cable was coming in this factory. It had come loose, and that thing was coming right toward me, and I didn't even know it, but it just went right around me. They thought it was going to hit me. It probably would have hit me. But I'm convinced an angel of the Lord took it and said, move that. I moved that away. He said, he's too dumb to see it. I got to help him out. I never knew what happened. I've heard a testimony of many others, how the situation was. It had to have been the Lord's intervention that kept us safe. He said, well, I don't know. I didn't know I was kept safe. Well, you will when you get to glory. There's situations where we just really, truly don't know about, but there are situations we do know about. We know that it was God who delivered us. So I am well with me because of my protection. And all that, I'm protected against physical wickedness. Oh, the devil attacks us all the time. We're thankful for the verse in 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, well, there's no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able, but also with the temptation make a way of escape that you may be able to bear it. Oh yes, Satan's out there. He's on the attack. And by the way, so Nathan and I were talking this morning. There's a lot of people out there that don't believe there is a personal devil. I know there's a personal devil out there, and I know he does not like me. And if you've been saved very long, you'll find out that we are in a battle. We're in a warfare. We have a very real enemy that hates you. His name is Satan, and he will try to trip you up any which way he can, and many times he does, but there was no excuse for it because God says, with the temptation, he'll make a way of escape that we may be able to bear it. I'm protected. When Satan attacks me, God's there for me. When Satan tries to destroy me from the physical standpoint, God is there for me. He's been there for me. And also against spiritual wickedness. We're reading the book of Romans chapter 8, verses 35 through 39. It's asking who can separate us from the love of God. Paul goes down the list about telling all these things that may confront us, may come out in our life. But he says, thank God Jesus has been there. He is there to protect us. And he protects us because he loves us. And he said, what about those Christians who died? If they died in the Lord, it was just simply time for them to come on home. And when I've outlived my usefulness for the Lord, when I've done everything I can for the Lord, I just want him to take me home. Take me on home. And God has let many people suffer martyr's death for him. And that's not necessarily the case with everybody, but I'm telling you what, when he's through with us, he'll take us on home. But until then, until God's through with us, if we're in the will of God, as far as I'm concerned, the devil can't stop us. And he's proved it time and time again in the lives of many of a child of God, where he delivers the situation because he wants something done. And remember, he's the one in charge. He's the one in control, and he can make things happen the way he wants to happen. The devil is powerful. The devil is not all powerful. And when God wants something done, if he wants to set the devil down, if he wants to tie him up, if he wants to hush him up, God can do what he wants to do, and the devil knows that. And he's there for our protection. It's well because of my pardon, my peace, my position, my protection. But also, it's well because of our provision. You know, many times we have to stop and give God glory for what He's given us. God in Philippians 4:19 has said that God shall supply all our need according to His riches in glory. God is there to meet our needs. And sometimes we don't understand why God will let us get in a situation like this. Sometimes we get in a situation because of our own doing, or something we did, or something we should have done. And sometimes God bails us out. But I tell you what, sometimes God brings about situations in our life that we would learn to trust in Him, learn to trust in His timing, learn to trust in His wisdom. And God is always there to provide for our needs. We're not really told that He's going to provide every want we've got. Yet He will provide for our needs. And I'm glad to say that God has provided for our needs. Not necessarily in the way I want it, not necessarily in the timing that I want it, but I could have to say that God has met our needs. He meets our needs physically. I'll tell you what, He can touch this body and heal it when the doctors have given up on any hope on whatsoever for us being well again. That's why we bring many requests on this prayer list. Many times, the majority of these prayer requests have to do with health. Why? Because God can take care of these things. God can heal. I mean, the devil's done got up too late to try to tell me that God cannot heal. He heals when He gets ready to heal. You don't make Him heal. He heals when He gets ready to heal, but He can heal. I mean, He took a blood clot from me that the doctors didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know where it went. All they knew it was gone. And I knew where it went. I knew that God had taken that thing from me. And I don't think they say, well, why did He let you have that to start with? It's always somebody with a smart mouth that's trying to indict God on something. Hey, I'm not nearly as worried about the fact that I had the blood clot as the fact that I am that God showed me that He took the thing away. God can heal. He gets glory when you're healed. Some people would never give Him glory till He touches their body and does a work of healing for them. But I tell you, when He does, all you can do is give Him praise and honor. And I'm happy for that provision now. I'm happy for Him in meeting our financial needs and make sure that we have food and raiment. Paul said, I'll be content. But God goes far beyond that so many times. Not only that, my spiritual needs. Where else do you go to get spiritual needs? You go to the devil. The devil can't do anything for your spiritual needs. All he does is tear you down. Can you just go down to downtown to the township? Can they help you with your spiritual needs? No, they can't help you with spiritual needs. The only one that can help you with spiritual needs is the Lord Himself. And I'm telling you, He knows what we need just at the right time, and He's never been late. There's one of the songwriters got a song that goes on to say, so speaking of Lazarus, you know, the sister of Mary and Martha, how he died. And they told him Lazarus is sick. And he says he's sick unto death. And Jesus deliberately stayed behind 2 or 3 days. And Lazarus died. But yet we find that when he got to the place, one of the things that one of the sisters said was, Lord, if you'd have been here, my brother had not died. He says, you believe that Lazarus shall live again? She says, I know in the resurrection he will. He said, listen, let me tell you something. He says, I am the resurrection. I am the life. And he said, if you believe in me, he says, you can see the miracle happen. And he came out there simply for the glory of God. Lazarus has been in that grave 4 days. That means he had already begun to decompose. He is to the point where nothing can have the Pharisees that you had a teaching that for 3 days the spirit of a man was still around the body. And that it was possible for somebody that might be raised from the grave in those first 3 days. But on the 4th day it was over. So Jesus made sure that he waited to the 4th day. He came up to that tomb. He said, Lazarus, come forth. And Lazarus came forth. He didn't wake up, took the grave clothes off, and walked up the steps. Oh no. Back when he got to the top, then they took him off of him. He said, how did he walk up there? He didn't say walk up here, Lazarus. He said, Lazarus, come forth. And I tell you what, if Lazarus had to fly upside down, he had to come out of that tomb because Jesus said, Lazarus, come forth. You say, well, why didn't he get there earlier? Because this is for the glory of God. Although this is getting close to the time when the Lord was going to go to be delivered into the hands of those before the crucifixion.